Have you ever noticed how the mind can become a prison without a single locked door? There are people who never stop moving, yet never actually arrive anywhere. They read another book, watch another video, take another course, write another plan, make another checklist. And every night they tell themselves the same lie. I'm just making sure I'm ready. But preparation has a twin brother. His name is procrastination. And the cruelest part, they wear the same face. Welcome back, my friends. My name is Grandpa T. And if you're here, it means you're searching for something deeper than motivation. You're searching for wisdom that has survived disappointment, failure, success, and time itself. Today we're going to uncover one of the greatest illusions that silently steals years from people's lives. Because overthinking isn't always intelligence. Sometimes it's fear wearing a graduation cap. And once you understand why, you'll never look at your own thoughts the same way again. Imagine standing beside a river. You want to cross. The bridge is sturdy. Thousands have crossed before you, yet you refuse. Instead, you spend hours calculating every possible way the bridge could collapse. What if the wood breaks? What if there's an earthquake? What if I trip? Too much what ifs. Meanwhile, someone less intelligent than you already crossed. This is the tragedy of overthinking. It doesn't stop because reality is dangerous. It stops because imagination has no limits. Your brain evolved for survival, not happiness, not achievement, and not fulfillment either. Thousands of years ago, thinking about every possible danger kept your ancestors alive. Today, that same survival mechanism is trying to protect you from embarrassment, failure, rejection, criticism. The brain cannot always tell the difference between a lion chasing you and someone laughing at your business idea. Both trigger the same alarm. So instead of moving, you think. Then think about your thinking. Then analyze why you're thinking. And eventually, you convince yourself you've been productive without ever taking a single step. Here's the dangerous part. Overthinking is addictive because it gives you the emotional reward of working without exposing yourself to failure. Planning feels productive. Research feels productive. Watching productivity videos feels productive. Making the perfect schedule feels productive. But motion is not movement. A rocking chair moves all day, but it never leaves the porch. Many people mistake mental activity for actual progress. It's like polishing a sword that never leaves its sheath. Eventually, the blade becomes beautiful, but completely useless. Perfection is often nothing more than procrastination dressed in expensive clothes. You tell yourself, I'll start when I'm ready. But readiness isn't something you discover. It's something you build by beginning. Fear has a favorite weapon. Questions. What if I fail? What if people judge me? What if I lose money? What if it doesn't work? But courage has only one question. What happens if I never try? One question creates prisons. The other creates freedom. Fear wants certainty before action. Life has never worked that way. The farmer plants before he knows the weather. The sailor leaves the harbor before knowing every wave. The parent raises a child without knowing every challenge ahead. Life rewards movement, not certainty. There's an old saying, a man who sleeps with a weapon under his pillow is crazy, except for one night. Think about that. Most nights, that weapon serves no purpose, but if danger truly arrives, it becomes priceless. Preparation works exactly the same way. Some people misunderstand this lesson. They believe preparing means imagining every possible disaster. No, preparation isn't endless. Worrying. Preparation is reducing uncertainty through action. If you're afraid of public speaking, practice speaking. If you're afraid of poverty, learn financial skills. If you're afraid of losing your job, develop another skill. If you're afraid of rejection, practice hearing no. Preparation transforms fear into confidence because confidence isn't a feeling, it's evidence. Every hour you spend practicing becomes proof that your mind can no longer argue against. When your mind whispers, "What if you can't?" your preparation calmly replies, "I already have." That's the difference. Overthinking imagines danger. Preparation rehearses survival. One drains your energy, the other strengthens your character. Most people suffer twice, once inside their imagination, then again in reality, and sometimes only inside their imagination. Imagine carrying an umbrella every day because one weather forecast predicted rain 5 years ago. That's what many people do emotionally. They carry yesterday's fears into today's opportunities. The mind creates ghosts, then spends years running from them. The future becomes heavier, not because life is difficult, but because imagination keeps adding invisible bricks. The irony? Most of the disasters you fear never happen, and the ones that do are rarely solved by worrying beforehand. They're solved by becoming the kind of person who can handle them. Preparation changes the person. Overthinking only changes the story. If this conversation is giving words to thoughts you've carried for years, take a moment to help this wisdom reach someone else who needs it. Subscribe to the channel if you're looking for timeless lessons instead of temporary motivation. Leave a like if you've ever caught yourself mistaking overthinking for progress. And in the comments, tell me this: what's one decision you've been overthinking for far too long? Sometimes admitting it is the first real step toward finally acting. Now, let's continue. Have you ever wondered why a lighthouse never moves? Storms come, waves crash, ships drift. Yet the lighthouse stands still. Its strength isn't movement. Its strength is preparation. Long before the storm arrives, its foundation is already deep. Its light is already built. Its purpose is already clear. When chaos arrives, it doesn't falter. It simply does what it was prepared to do. Become like the lighthouse. Don't wait until life becomes difficult before building discipline. Don't wait until you're broke before learning about money. Don't wait until you're lonely before becoming someone worth loving. Don't wait until opportunity knocks before developing your abilities. Preparation before necessity is wisdom. Preparation after necessity is survival. Imagine planting a tree. One man plants it today. Another spends 10 years researching the perfect soil. 20 years later, the first man enjoys shade. The second owns a notebook full of information. Knowledge without execution becomes decoration. The world doesn't reward potential. It rewards applied potential. Talent unused expires. Ideas ignored decay. Dreams postponed quietly become regrets. Time is patient, but it is never generous. Every year spent overthinking is a year someone else spent becoming. People think clarity comes before action. The opposite is usually true. Action creates clarity. You don't discover confidence, you accumulate it. Every action is another brick, another lesson, another scar, another story. Eventually, the rough road that once looked impossible becomes the road you've already walked. Experience answers questions that thinking never could. Fear never disappears completely. Even the strongest people feel it. The difference. is they prepared long before fear arrived. A boxer trains before entering the ring. A firefighter practices before the fire. A surgeon studies before the operation. Preparation doesn't eliminate fear. It simply gives fear less authority. Eventually, your fears will stop asking, "What if you fail?" because your actions have already answered, "I've survived harder things." That is confidence, not arrogance, not optimism, but evidence that you are capable. There comes a moment in every person's life when they realize they have mistaken thinking for living. Don't let today become another rehearsal for a life you never perform. Preparation is powerful, but preparation has a finish line. Eventually, you must step onto the stage. The seed cannot negotiate forever with the soil. Eventually, it must break open. The butterfly cannot endlessly redesign its cocoon. Eventually, it must fly. And you cannot spend your entire life preparing for a future that only belongs to those willing to act. Remember this whenever your thoughts begin building cages around your dreams. Overthinking is procrastination in disguise. Protect yourself not by imagining every possible problem, but by becoming the kind of person who can face whatever problem arrives. Because a man who sleeps with a weapon under his pillow may look crazy, except for the one night he truly needs it. So don't prepare to avoid life. Prepare so that when life calls your name, you are finally ready to answer. Until next time, I'm Grandpa T. Take care of your mind, guard your character, and never allow fear to convince you that thinking is the same as living.